Hi everybody, BionicDance here. So it seems I'm forced into the position of explaining exactly why the babies-are-atheists argument is important, because some people seem just determined to not get it, or determined, really invested in it not being true. But the fact is that babies being atheists is not in and of itself an important argument. It's meant to illustrate a much larger point, namely that atheism or atheist as a designation is much more broad than a lot of people would be willing to admit. Some people are very invested, it seems, in believing that atheism is just explicit atheism or strong atheism, where someone has actively said, made an explicit, deliberate choice either to not believe in gods or to say that God is not real. And I can understand why someone might be invested in that. A lot of theist types would probably be like, oh yeah? Well, prove it then. And if atheism can be something other than declaring God does not exist, well, that kind of yanks that argument right out from under them, doesn't it? So, the fact is, though, that atheism is meant to describe something very specific. Here are theists. Here's everyone who's not a theist. They are atheists. You see? That's the distinction that theism and atheism is meant to describe. It is not meant to describe, here are theists, and here are the people who are saying they are wrong. Here are theists, and here are the people who are against them. That's not what atheism is. Atheism is just not theism. That's it. So anybody who is not a theist is an atheist. Now, okay, granted, theism is probably a more broad category than most people would like to admit to, because atheism does sort of include things like deism and pantheism as well. But the fact is that, again, the actual point of the babies-are-atheists argument is that you don't have to make an explicit choice. You can have implicit atheism, also known as weak atheism versus strong atheism. Strong and explicit atheism are the same thing. You see, if you want atheism, or you want to talk about atheists who are the God does not exist type, who are more the explicit choosers of not being theists, well, then you modify atheism with an adjective, with a qualifying adjective. It's not hard to do. Strong atheist, explicit atheist. It's really simple. But it seems that there are some people who insist that atheism has to just be explicit atheism. And I'm sorry, but I'm trying to actually describe something that does exist in the world. And atheism describes people who are not theists. It's that simple. Now, if you don't like atheism being, anything other than explicit atheism, if you don't like the idea of atheism being a broader topic, a broader category than just explicit or strong atheism, then give me another word. I mean, agnostic doesn't fill it. Gnosticism is about knowledge. It's not about belief, where theism is about belief. So agnostic doesn't cover it. So give me another word besides atheism that means this broad category of just not God believers, not theists that I'm describing. I've made this challenge to other people, and they just don't take it up. It seems to me that there are some people who are really insistent that there cannot be this broader category of not believing in God. And I have to wonder why. But this is why I make the babies-are-atheists argument. This is why it's important, is to show how broad a designation, how broad a category atheism truly is. So to those of you who've been wondering, that's why. Now, there are some of you who say that, well, this brings up absurdities like rocks being atheists because rocks don't believe in a God. Well, they don't, do they? I'm perfectly okay with saying rocks are atheists because I don't think atheism needs an explicit choice. I think that theism needs an explicit choice. Theism is saying, I have decided to believe in a God. And that's the only thing that needs a designation, really. But because we need to distinguish between atheists and theists somehow, because we have to distinguish between those who do believe in a God and those who don't somehow, we need a word like atheist. We need a word that means not theist. So atheism is there. Now, if you want to insist that inanimate objects cannot be atheists, well, okay, fine, I will agree to that qualifier. No problem. Though I'm also perfectly happy to say that rocks are atheists, no matter how absurd you think that is. Because I'm trying to describe, and I'm trying to accurately describe. And what I'm trying to describe are those who are theists and those who are not. That's what I'm trying to describe. That's what the babies-are-atheists argument is supposed to show. But some people have gotten really caught up in the minutiae and haven't seen this larger picture, which is why I'm spelling it out explicitly here and now. So, if people really don't get this after this video, I'm not sure how to help you. But if you do get it and you still argue against it, well then I ask again, give me a word that does describe this broad category that I've talked about in this video. Give me a word that does it better than atheist. Because I don't know of one. And it seems to make the most sense, because with the definition I'm using, you can have everything else that you want to describe. Just modify atheist with strong or explicit. That's all you have to do. So where's the problem? I really don't understand what the problem is, but some people still seem to have one with this definition of atheism, even though the word, the etymology of the word means what we're trying to say, it accurately describes, it does everything you need it to do, and add a qualifying adjective, and it does everything that you want, except allow you to shoehorn the definition of atheism into a much smaller category. So, I say again, either give me another word, or admit that what I'm saying, the word I'm using and how I'm using it, does the job. Just saying. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please think.
Please take the time to rate this video. And hey, if you dig what I do, subscribe. And please visit my Zazzle store, where you'll find all kinds of BionicDance merchandise. If you don't like what I'm saying, there's a good chance you're the reason I'm saying it.